So if you're asked about the maximum, that means you have to differentiate to find the critical point. And you have to find the critical point, and then once you've done that, you have to apply the critical point back into the g of x. And when they ask you for the absolute, that means you also have to apply in the g of x the endpoints, which are right now -2 and 2. Now let's start with the differentiation part to find the critical points. So how would you differentiate this equation? So look, if you have an absolute value, copy paste the equation in the numerator without the absolute value, but in your denominator put the absolute value. And again, in the numerator without the absolute value, but in the denominator put the absolute value. Now, it's very simple. A critical point is what exactly? It can be one of two things. Either when the g prime of x is equal 0, or when the g prime of x is equal to does not exist. So in this instance here, what will make our denominator 0 will make our g prime not existent, which would be at x equals -1 and also at x is equal 0. So now we have two critical points to assess, plus the assessment of the two endpoints, which are the -2 and the 2 in the original equation of g. So let's start the work. So we're going to have g of -2. We're going to have g of 0. We're going to have g of -1. We're going to have g of 2. So here we go. So now we're going to say that there's -2 within the absolute value, -3 is absolute value here, -2 plus 1. So 2 minus 3 times 1, and so we're going to have a -1. For the g of 0, we'll get 0 minus 3 times 1, which is -3. For the -1 inside the absolute value and -1 plus 1, we will just get a 1. 2 inside the absolute value, -3, 2 plus 1. So 2 minus 3 times 3, which is -7. And so the biggest number here is going to be a 1. And that's going to be our answer. That's going to be the answer for the absolute maximum. And in case you want to know about the absolute minimum, that would be the least number here. That would be the absolute minimum.